Welcome to the University of North Georgia Political Science and International Affairs Department's YouTube channel. In this segment of our Meet Our Students series, you'll have the opportunity to meet Commerce, Georgia native senior Tracy Amaya. Tracy is a political science major with a pre-law concentration who has the privilege of being selected to be a student speaker at the upcoming December 2024 UNG Commencement ceremony, the third PSIA major in UNG's last four graduation ceremonies to be so honored. We caught up with Tracy a few days before she concludes her undergraduate career to chat about her time with PSIA and get her reaction to her upcoming speaking engagement. Good afternoon, Tracy.
Good afternoon.
What an honor to be selected to speak in front of your classmates and their guests at a UNG graduation. But before we get into some of the particulars, would you please tell us a little bit about yourself? Who exactly is Tracy Amaya?
Awesome. Of course. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me and get to know me a little bit more. I'm really excited for this opportunity. I am from Jackson County, Georgia. My name is Tracy Amaya. I am a political science with a concentration pre-law here at the University of North Georgia. My home campus is Gainesville, but I am between Dahlonega and Gainesville right now. What else? My background, I am the proud daughter of Latin American immigrants. My mom is Mexican and my dad's from El Salvador. So that's just a little bit about me. It's a very brief introduction, right?
You're following in the footsteps of fellow PSIA colleagues Carly Blankenship and Neva Garrett, who preceded you as commencement speakers last December and last May, respectively. What does your selection and this opportunity mean to you, Tracy?
I am a first-generation college student. Like I said, I am Latina. I think hopefully I hope that my speech will convey a story of resilience, perseverance, to our graduates and to our guests. It's an incredible honor. And when I received the email that I was going to be selected as student speaker, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, that is crazy. It's one thing to, practice with, my camera, but to be in front of 3,700, 3,000 people presenting my speech, or that is crazy. But yeah, I just hope that speaking from the heart, speaking from my personal experience here at the University of North Georgia as a first-generation Latina college student, I hope that my message is meaningful to our graduates.
Let's go back to when you first joined the PSIA family, Tracy. You came to UNG from East Jackson High School 4+ years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What got you interested in political science and in pre-law? And also, and perhaps more importantly, why here at UNG?
I was always drawn to the University of North Georgia. My sister is actually an alumni. She's actually back in school. She graduated in 2021 with her nursing degree from UNG. She always spoke volumes about the University of North Georgia, how, the staff, the faculty here was just a great school. When I was graduating high school, I didn't even apply to other schools because I was like, I know I want to go to UNG. I know I want to stay close to home. Especially the Gainesville campus being so close to me. I was like, man, this is like really just writing itself out. It's so perfect. And boy, am I glad that I chose the University of North Georgia. I will forever be indebted to UNG. It's done volumes for me, and I really couldn't see myself being anywhere else. I'm very glad of my decision. I've always known that I wanted to pursue some sort of post-grad degree, whether that be my master's, my PhD. I always knew that. So going into undergrad, I wanted to graduate undergrad debt-free, not take any of the loans out. I didn't want to move out of my house yet. I wasn't quite ready to do so because I knew for graduate school, I wanted to maybe venture out of Georgia. But to why political science, to why pre-law, I plan on going to law school after I finished here my time at UNG, and I've always wanted to be an attorney. I think something that has always called my name, and I've known, it sounds so cliche, right? Everyone wants to be an attorney, but really, I truly have pictures of myself where my mom, like always in a little business pantsuit. So I always knew this was my calling.
This past summer, you spent some time in Washington, D.C. as a Meridian-Cox Foreign Service Fellow, correct?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell us a little bit about that program and your time in our nation's capital?
Yeah, Yeah, of course, certainly. So the Meridian-Cox, I'll first start explaining what Meridian-Cox Foreign Servants Fellowship is. So it was a 1 week sort of immersion, really focused on giving groups who have been historically disenfranchised pathways to possibly pursuing a career in foreign service. So we were there for a week. We did a whole bunch of activities, from diplomatic skills training to visiting the U.S. Aid Office in D.C. to visiting the Peace Corps, visiting the Indonesian embassy, really seeing the different sectors of foreign service and how interconnected foreign service really is into our everyday lives. What else? Yeah, that's a general overview, but I loved Meridian-Cox. I think it's an incredible experience, for any of our UNG students who might be interested in pursuing a career in foreign service or even diplomacy. I think it really gets your foot in the door, and really great experience overall.
Well, you also spent some time, as I understand it, recently at the University of Pittsburgh.
Yes, I
So,
did.
so why were you in Pennsylvania?
Yes, right. It's been a busy year for me, definitely. November has been busy for me. But I was in Pennsylvania earlier this month, with the PPIA, Public Policy and International Affairs. I went to the University of Pittsburgh for a 3-day conference, and through PPIA, their partnering institutions, they do what is called public service weekends. And really what those public service weekends are just professional development conferences. Depending on the school, each school has its different, its specific application process. And then to what some of the attendees were telling me too that have gone to previous public service weekends, they were saying that some of them have like distinct themes. This one was a little bit more relaxed. It was more geared toward applying to graduate school. With the University of Pittsburgh, them showing us specifically why the University of Pittsburgh would be possibly a good graduate program for us, and why we should choose Pittsburgh, right? But it was great. It was a 3-day professional development conference. We listened to panelists from various fields within the public service. It was nonprofits, government agencies. Got to network with aspiring graduate students, aspiring graduate students as well. So it was great.
So, what did those two programs do for you, Tracy, as you look back on them, both personally and then as you look forward? How do you, or what do you anticipate those programs doing for you professionally?
Oh my goodness, how much time do we have? They have done immense things. Really, I would say just me being able to, articulate my thoughts very well, to network with other people, connect with people who are like-minded as me. And it also unveiled to me or revealed to me what path I would like to go down after I finished my undergraduate career. I have been able to meet countless of people and connect with them, and really just seeing people who like-minded, who have the same aspirations as you do, really is incredibly empowering, and it motivates you to seek out for these opportunities because, you know, connecting with undergraduate students and graduate students, you say like, oh, like, how did you do this? Or like, when I was at Pennsylvania, I was telling all the undergraduates, I was like, have you guys heard of the Meridian-Cox Fellowship? Like, are you guys interested in foreign service? If so, let me tell you about my experience. And I was sending them the links. I was like, listen, the application opens up next spring. Definitely give it a shot. Apply if you're interested. In applying. I also advocated for the PPIA Junior Institute, even though I wasn't a participant. One of my great friends, Fatima, she did it this summer, and I was also advocating for her. And I'm like, she had a great experience. She was at UC Berkeley, so really just connecting with people and also sharing ideas and opportunities, right?
Okay, so let's go back a little bit closer to home. Come back to Georgia real quickly. What experiences from our political science program would you say have been most meaningful to your academic career and also to your life in general? And which do you anticipate as you, again, look forward to being most meaningful to you as you start your career?
well, I've had countless experiences, but definitely Model United Nations. I was a wide-eyed freshman, and I remember sitting in Dr. Chan's global issues class. And I took a great liking to this. I'm like, man, this is like super duper interesting. And Dr. Chan told me, he was like, have you thought about Model UN? Like, and I was familiar with Model UN in high school. We didn't have a club at my school, so I didn't really, understand like the logistics of it, but I was like, hey, why not? So the spring of my freshman year, I participated in my first ever Model United Nations conference. I ended up loving it, even though it was, I felt like a fish out of water. It was so incredibly just fun. So really, Model UN has been, I I love Model UN. I think for our incoming political science students, even if it might deter you because of the public speaking aspect of it, I definitely encourage them to just try it once. After a while, you really do get into character, I would say. And Model UN has just like improved my public speaking skills immensely, my negotiating skills, my ability to communicate my ideas effectively, while also broadening my understanding of diplomacy and international affairs. So definitely Model UN. I would thank you, Model UN and Dr. Chan for sure.
Well, that sounds great, and I'm sure Dr. Chand appreciates the shout out. In closing, Tracy, what advice or what do you have to say to our viewers, whether they're prospective students, current students, or as you will soon be, former students?
I would definitely say not to sell yourself short. Um, One of the things that I wish I would have done sooner is just to apply for opportunities. I know sometimes they might be deterring because of the applicant pool. However, I think specifically the University of North Georgia has immense resources to really see you succeed. I know for one, I've worked closely with Dr. Lynn through the Office of Nationally Competitive Scholarships. So really just not selling yourself short. And if you're interested in an opportunity, definitely apply for it. I always tell myself the worst they can say is no. And it's never just rejection, it's always redirection. If one thing is not for you, then something else will come down the line that will. But really just applying for stuff, internships, scholarships, fellowships, just to really, add to your CV, but not just add to your CV and your resume, but also for your professional development as your professional and your academic development as well.
Well, I want to thank you for your time, Tracy, and for your words of both wisdom and encouragement. I look forward to listening to you in a couple of weeks at the UNG Convocation Center. Congratulations again on being selected to be one of the student speakers, and I wish you all the best, both in a couple of weeks and in all your future endeavors.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and thank you for your kind words. It's been a pleasure.